Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about shutter speed, what it is, how it affects your images, and everything in between. In a previous video, which I'll link up here somewhere, we talked about ISO, which was a part of the exposure triangle. So you have ISO, shutter speed and aperture. We'll move on to aperture in this third part of this trilogy. So let's just dive straight into what the puzzle of shutter speed is. By the end of this video, you'll know what it is, like I said, how it works and why it is a game changer for your photography. Also, I still have my flu, so bear with me. It has grabbed me by the you-know-whats, and it has taken me for a journey of man flu, which we all know is the worst type of flu. Comment below if you agree. Also, like I said in the last video, I'll link in the description below a cheat sheet you could follow along, which explains what ISO is, aperture is, and shutter speed is. You can follow along, take it out with you, download it after this. Yeah, just download it for free, have a little gander, and let me know what you think. So, what is shutter speed? Well, in simple terms, in photography anyway, shutter speed is how long the shutter stays open for. That's mechanical shutter. If your new modern mirrorless cameras, you have an electronic shutter. It's how long the sensor is exposed to light. And shutter speed is usually measured in fractions. For example, 1/100th of a second, 1/250th of a second. You can either have 1 second or go up to 30 seconds usually before you have to put it into an alternative modes, which we're not going to talk about today, but we're just going to talk about the basics of shutter speed. Now, the longer that your shutter speed is, I'll put it here, the longer your shutter speed opens, the more light it's going to let in. So if you want to freeze time, for example, you do it really quick, your image will be frozen, with like dirt to be frozen, water will be frozen. And if you wanted some dynamic movement within your shot and try and make it look like there's a lot of speed within your image with your car or your vehicle, like this tank, which isn't actually a tank, it's a gun, which I'll put up on the screen. This gun, whilst I shot in the army, following it along to make it look like it's going faster than it actually is. This is only going about 10 miles an hour, but I've made it look like it's going about 30 or 40 by changing the shutter speed. The shutter speed of this, I think, was about 20th of a second, so quite slow. So that's how you can make things look faster than they are, by panning with it, following the subject, and then manipulating your shutter speed. One point to note when you're slowing your shutter speed down is I would recommend having a tripod. If you haven't got a tripod, have a very, very steady hand and a stabilized lens. That tank shot, that's not a tank, the gun shot that I showed you, that was with a 7200, I believe, which has 3 different forms of stabilization. That's really, really good. And you lock your elbows in whilst you're taking a shot, and you just follow it along. Obviously using your face as well when you bring the eyepiece up is another point of contact. So you have like 3 points of contact to keep it nice and steady. So yeah, just practice that. You'll notice that if you have like a 16mm wide angle when you're doing it handheld, because it's so wide, the image in reference, the subject within reference to your camera is not moving too much. But try it out now. If you've got a 200mm and you're trying to lock into a subject, it's crazy. Yeah, it's quite hard to keep it still. So I do recommend a tripod if you're going to lower your shutter speed. So I'm just going to bring out the trusty whiteboard again, and I'll explain in visual terms what the shutter speed does. Here we go. Like I said, we're going to be talking shutter speed. As I said, it's mentioned in fractions. So let's say we've got 1/4000th of a second. The image is going to be crazy sharp. So your car, let's do, I can actually draw cars a little bit. It's going to say the car's like that, shall we? And then we're following the subject. Let's say we're at like 50th of a second. Oh. Your image will be crazy blurry. Let's try and make it look like it's oh dear, it's terrible. Nice and blurry. So let's move it up a bit. Freeze and blur. I hope that this is in focus because I'm using manual focus on my camera. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, the Canon's telling me it's in focus, so we'll see. Now, that is shutter speed. Terrible drawing. So we're just going to head outside now and do it in practical terms, just to show you in simple terms how the shutter speed can affect your image. So let's get outside and we'll meet back in here shortly. And here we are out and about in the field. I've got my R5C, got the 70-200. Autofocus is on, stabilization is on. I've got it on stabilization mode 2. You don't really need to know much about that. And first and foremost, I apologize for the audio if it's bad because it is windy out here, but it's under my t-shirt and it's got a wind muff on. So the reason why I've got a long lens is so that I can emphasize the, what am I at? I'm at 100mm. I can emphasize the movement and emphasize the shutter speed. So what we're going to do is, it's not the wrong way, it's definitely not the wrong way, but we're going to ramp our shutter speed right up. I'm going to follow the cars behind me and we're going to try and catch them between this gap or there or thereabouts. I've got my camera on continuous high shutter speed, so it goes 10 frames a second, I think, maybe. Don't quote me on that one, but anyway, it goes rather than. I like to just smash. I do a lot of VIP stuff. I just like to smash photos and deal with it afterwards. In the digital era, you can get away with it. I don't want to have that one moment where you miss it and they're blinking or they've got a crazy face because they've just sneezed or something. I don't know, but I'd rather just go to continuous high and blast as many images as I can. So what we're going to do is, at the moment I've got it on 1,000th of a second. I might go higher. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll go higher just for demonstration purposes. Let's go 2,000th of a second. The aperture and ISO is irrelevant, to be fair, because I'm just trying to balance out the image, but we've got 2.8 aperture, so the depth of field would be quite shallow in the aperture, which we'll talk about in the aperture lesson, which is coming on a future video. Oh my god. And I'm at ISO 200. We talked about ISO in the previous video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a nice car to come along, or a fairly decent car. I don't really want an old crappy car, you know. I want a good car, but we'll see. Beggars can't be choosers, and it's quite cold out there at the moment when the sun's gone in, so we'll see. But I'm just going to take a picture now. Like I said, I'm at about 120 mil. I shall put the image up on the screen when a car goes past. I'm not going to do this one because it's white and it's annoying to expose. They never look great, white cars. Got a nice blue car come in, looks like a Focus. Let's take a picture of the Focus. Come on. It's going really slow. Like really, really slow. I'm not going to take a picture of that. So the reason why I wanted to demonstrate the shutter speed is because usually if you wanted to emphasize the speed of the vehicle, let's say they're doing 60 miles an hour, general rule of thumb, people might disagree with me, people may not, but you would have your shutter speed, this car's flying now, but you'd have your shutter speed at 60th of a second to try and match the speed. So the tank that's not a tank, which I show in the studio, is that was probably doing about 20-30 miles an hour, so I'd have it at 20th of a second, maybe a 30th of a second. But for this purpose, like I said, to show you not the wrong way, but probably best not to do it, 2,000th of a second. So with that little bit of explanation of why you would slow the shutter speed down, I'm going to wait for a vehicle. Also, whilst we wait here, what I'd recommend is having it on some sort of tracking focus rather than trying to do a single point focus. Depends, well, it's completely up to you, but for a moving target, it's quite hard to get it in focus. Right, we've got a car coming, let's go. So this was a Peugeot. Doing the hair, nice. But as you can see, let's choose this image. I'll blur her out. Everything, I'll choose this image. Everything's in focus, like everything, which is fine. You want your subject to be in focus, but it might as well have just been parked up on the side of the road because everything's sharp and everything is still. There's no motion. So I'm going to change it now. We're going to put it on 1/60th of a second, because I think they're doing about 50-60 miles an hour. So 1/60th. Now, because I've changed, I'm now going to move my aperture to, let's say, f16. Let's just have a look what that's exposed like. Yeah, it's a bit under, but we're fine. So f16, so it's all the way up now over the aperture. But that doesn't mean that everything's going to be in focus and you're not going to have your subject isolated, because you're following your subject. They're always going to be still in the frame, but the trees and everything that's moving behind it are going to be blurry. And it means that your subject's going to be in focus, hopefully, and everything else is moving, so it makes it look like it's going fast. So just going to wait for the next subject now. The hard thing with this is you're not going to get it perfect every time. The hard thing is trying to match the camera with the speed of the vehicle. So we're going to try and get this one now, whatever it is. A bit underexposed at the moment. That was a Fiat 500. I'll have a look at that in a second. We'll get this one for good luck. It's got its lights on. No, we're not going to get that one. Right, let's have a look. Wasn't bad. Let's have a look through the images. Oh, the front of it. That's nice, the front of it. Hard work with the hedges. That one's not too shabby. We'll get another one. We'll get another one just for good luck. But you can see in that image the blurriness to create speed and dynamicness, if you want to call it that. Come on, let's go a bit faster. Not that one, not a Ford Galaxy. Wouldn't be sick if we had some sort of, like, I don't know, supercar, Ferrari, Supra. Who doesn't want a Supra? Nissan GTR. Comment below what's your favourite car. Comment below, that'd be a good one. A motorbike would be quite good, but crazy small subject to try and get in focus. But you can use this for various different things. It doesn't have to be obviously cars, but I'm a car channel, so not sure what car that is. But you could use it for like horses, runners, trains, boats, anything that's moving, obviously moving subject. But as we're a car channel, we're taking photos of cars. This car's overtaken another car. Rapid. Audi. Whew, Audi's flying. Right, none of those so far have been really crisp, and we've lost a lot of exposure. So I'm going to go for, let's go for f8, just to test my theory. It doesn't have to be really high aperture, just have to balance it out, but make sure your shutter speed is the priority to get the speed, basically. Right, let's go. That's a van. We don't want a van. When I was walking down here, there's some crazy fast cars coming down here, but now I'm here that they're not. So let's go for this back car, whatever this is. Ah, let's go for a motorbike. Let's go. Nice. I think they looked at me. Let's have a look. Oh, that was a great one, especially with the star flare. Let's turn this off. Great, we saw a motorbike. So that was good. I can't remember what I was going to say. I was mid-chat and then we saw that car. Oh yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen many nice cars today. Like, nice cars, that's a bit rude. I haven't seen any modified cars, any, you know, the car scene cars. But maybe they're all on, it's Sunday, so maybe they're on, there's 2 meets that I was going to go to today. And just going to shield the microphone. So windy. Let's go this way a second. Maybe. Let's go this way. So yeah, there's 2 meets that I was going to go to today, but I had to obviously film these, priority, and it's towards the end of the month, so money was tight. But there we go. One was in Caffeine and Machine, what I was going to go to. Excuse me. It's about an hour and 40 minutes from me. Great place if you haven't seen it before. If I remember, I'll link it below in the description. And then there was a Honda day down south somewhere, in the Midlands actually, near Banbury. But anyway, I digress. I waffle. So yeah, shutter speed. I'm well happy with the motorbike one right at the end. So that was, like I said, 65th of a second. I dropped down to f8 because of exposure, and it was like 100 ISO, something like that. But the shutter speed is the priority. So that concludes shutter speed, all that good stuff. Let's head back to the studio and sum everything up. So that's it in a nutshell, really, with shutter speed. It's all about motion within your image with photography. Different with videography, but we're not going to go on that today. Next time you're out and about, just have a little play. If you didn't come out with me outside, then that's cool. Take me along with your phone next time, but that's all good. Like I said, there is a cheat sheet below in the description. Don't forget to have a gander at that. It's free of charge completely. Go have a gander, download it, take it out with you, and learn some hints and tips. And let me know if in the comments below if it has helped you out and you did download it. I do recommend it, free of charge. Get down there and have a gander. But like I said, get out there, try this yourself. I've made a few mistakes myself before with shutter speed, like taking a photo of a helicopter, and when you have the shutter speed that's too fast, the rotor blades are just still, and it doesn't look like they're moving at all. So it's supposedly a big no-no in the pro world, but it just makes it look like the helicopter's just floating in the air. It's just like photoshopped in because the blades aren't moving. And also in the last video, I did a little Easter egg. Beside me, there is a vehicle from my Hot Wheels, small Hot Wheels collection so far. Comment below what the type of car is, or maybe the color of the car if you don't know what type of car it is. Comment below. Little community thing we're going to build up here. I put a different car in my other video, which I'll link up here, about ISO, and then I'll just keep moving the cars around if I remember. I will have a gander. But if you like this beginner's guide to shutter speed, if you'd like to know anything more about shutter speed, if you've got any questions about shutter speed at all, just put it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to help out. Apologies again for my man flu. Also, on my Instagram, which I'll link down, DM any images that you are having trouble with, or anything that you would like me to help out with, or just things that you'd like to show me. I want to build a cool community of car photography and videography enthusiasts and just car lovers, really. If you're starting out, come hit me up. I will help you out as much as I can. So, cool beans. Thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I shall catch you in the next one.